Even in Caitlin Clark's home state, girls' high school basketball in decline. It thrives in this town. The northwest Iowa towns of Newell and Fonda are outliers at a time participation in girls' basketball is in steep decline. Newell, Iowa. The streets of Newell and Fonda are quiet. Rural decline has taken a toll on these northwest Iowa towns, with Main Street storefronts shuttered and vacant houses scattered here and there. Yet the heart of these communities, separated by 9 miles, isn't hard to find. It still beats at the Newell-Fonda High School gym, where many of Newell's 850 residents, Fonda's 600 folks from surrounding farms dress in blue and fill it up to cheer on their beloved girls' basketball team that is known across Iowa. With 21 of the school's 71 girls in grades 9 to 12 playing on the varsity or junior varsity teams, the Mustangs are an outlier. Participation in girls' basketball across the country has declined even as the popularity of the college and pro games has never been higher. Iowa's own Caitlin Clark has been credited with a lot of that of late, but participation numbers in her home state and many others are down. When I first started coaching girls' basketball, every team you played had a good point guard, a good shooter, and a solid post player, and then they could build from there. Newell-Fonda coach Dick Jungers said, "Now, some of the teams we play are struggling to have maybe even 1 or 2 good players in the whole program. It's kind of concerning, but kids are putting their time elsewhere." The drop in Iowa has been bigger than in most states, and almost unimaginable given its long history in the girls' and women's game. Iowa was first to hold a state tournament for girls, back in 1920 when they played 6-on-6, and Clark is one of the most famous players in the women's game. A handful of Iowa high schools have disbanded their programs due to lack of interest. Many have only enough players for a varsity team, and it's not uncommon for junior varsity games to be 2 quarters because JV players also must suit up for the varsity games that follow. Basketball is still queen in Newell and Fonda, and has been since Jody Mask took 4 teams to the state tournament from 1995 to 2002. He turned the program over to Jungers, who is 527-83 with 4 championships and 16 state tournaments in 24 years. 3 of the Mustangs' 4 championships in Iowa's small school class, 1A, came consecutively from 2019 to 21. They've played in the state Final 7 of the last 8 seasons. Everyone who cares about girls' basketball in Iowa knows they are a powerhouse. The Mustangs opened this season 14-1 with an average winning margin of 34 points. They led a recent opponent 56-2 at half and have been ranked No. 1 since knocking off the team that beat them in the state final last March, Council Bluffs Street Albert. "It's an intense desire to win, you've got to admit," said 89-year-old Jim Galey, who has been attending games for 60 years. Senior center Josie Walsh said, "If you know Newell-Fonda, you know we play basketball." According to the National Federation of State High School Associations, participation in girls' basketball across the country dropped from 451,600 in 2000 to 356,240 in 2025. Volleyball surpassed basketball as the most popular girls' team sport a decade ago and has grown from 380,994 participants to 492,799 since 2000. That's a 21% drop for basketball and 29% increase for volleyball. Using raw data, the number of schools reporting their participation numbers varies year to year. Kansas, Louisiana, North Dakota, Indiana, and Iowa have seen the biggest declines. Fewer than 10 saw increases. In Iowa, girls' basketball participation has fallen 38% since 2000 from 9,401 to 5,856. Other pipelines for the college and pro game are still relatively robust, including the elite clubs. Greg Turner, director of basketball for the Amateur Athletic Union, said he has noticed a decline to a lesser degree in programs his organization sanctions. The AAU season runs opposite the traditional winter basketball season and draws girls who are serious about improving their games or playing in college. AAU media officials did not respond to requests for participation numbers, and Turner said he wasn't authorized to release them. Clark's prodigious numbers and style of play over the past several years are credited with creating a surge of interest in women's basketball. While the sport has enjoyed unprecedented viewership and attendance, participation at the high school level has yet to get a bump. Even Clark's alma mater, Class 5, a Dowling Catholic in West Des Moines, has seen a decline. Coach Kristen Meyer said she would have about 40 girls go out for basketball when she arrived 10 years ago. That number was 28 this season. Chad Gillick, whose Johnston team in suburban Des Moines is two-time defending 5A champion and winner of 67 straight games, faces the same issue. He said his program regularly had 40 to 50 players in grades 9 to 12 when he started 14 years ago. Last year I only had 20 kids, and we're the third largest high school in the state of Iowa, and that's the lowest number we ever had, he said, adding that his numbers are closer to the norm this season. Meyer, Gillick, and Jungers are on an Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union Task Force, formed last year to explore reasons for the statewide decline and come up with possible solutions. Coaches say club volleyball programs and girls wrestling have siphoned players from basketball. Club volleyball season conflicts with basketball, and fewer girls want to play multiple sports. Girls wrestling became a sanctioned sport in Iowa in 2022-23. And more than 2,000 have taken it up. Coaches also say basketball skills, more than in other sports, are hard to develop and that the disparity between serious and casual players has never been greater. They said girls tend to get discouraged and quit by middle school if they struggle. The physical aspects of the game, the running and bumping, also turn off some players. Dowling's Meyer suggested doing things a new way on the grade school teams that feed the high schools. She said playing 3-on-3 games until 5th grade would give everyone more opportunities to shoot, develop skills, and stay interested. Meyer also said more women in their 20s and 30s with a basketball background are needed to coach at the grade school level because they typically are more relatable to a young girl than a dad coach. I mean, who would you rather hang out with if you're that age? Meyer said. At Newell-Fonda, kids typically start playing when they're in 3rd grade. But this year a 2nd grade team was formed. Of 21 2nd grade girls, 17 signed up. Playing basketball would seem to be just what girls from Newell-Fonda do if they have athletic talent. I think it's what you do even if you don't have athletic talent, Andrea Vanderhoff said, laughing. Everyone just wants to be a part of it. Vanderhoff is a 2005 graduate who played on Durgan's first 3 teams. Now she coaches the 2nd graders, and her oldest daughter, Madeline, is a freshman on the JV and varsity. Madeline is among a core group of girls who play 3 or 4 sports, same as in many small towns. The Mustangs are successful in most, but basketball trumps all. It's really important here, a lot of pride, Jungers said. It gives the community something to look forward to. It makes a big difference, and when kids feel successful, it helps everything. A recent 70-33 victory came against a Storm Lake team that has more than 4 times the enrollment and plays 2 classes above Newell-Fonda. For the Mustangs, years of playing together have created on-court chemistry to go with their impressive skills, and Jungers' up-tempo offense wears down opponents. Marini Brabeck has endless energy, making a sharp cut and going in for a left-handed layup before winning a battle for the ball against 2 much larger girls under the hoop and delivering a perfect pass to the trailing Ava Valle for an easy bank-in. Later, V pulled up and sank a 3-pointer from 4 to 5 feet behind the arc. Quinn Seaver's court demeanor belies the fact she's a freshman, and she averages 4 assists per game as the first player off the bench. Ellie Seavers leads a balanced scoring attack with better than 15 points per game. Parents who are former players and stay in the area to raise families are eager to volunteer to do whatever Jungers asks, whether it's help coach a grade school team or organize a fundraiser. They're going to grow their kids up to be just the same as they were, Madeline Vanderhoff said. It's generation by generation here. The matriarch is 87-year-old Marie Brian, class of 1956. She played for Fonda 4 decades before the schools merged. She averaged more than 30 points per game as a senior and still bemoans an official's call that cost her team a trip to the 1956 state tournament. Brian drove the team bus for almost 40 years and has had 3 daughters, 8 granddaughters, and now great-granddaughter Madeline play high school basketball. Kane at her side, She sits in her reserved front row seat opposite the Mustangs bench for each game, unless it's too slick to drive over from Fonda. The games are community events where a pregame supper often is served in the school cafeteria to raise money for other activities. Buena Vista County sent 1.5 million pigs and hogs to market last year, so naturally pulled pork sandwiches were on the menu before the game against Storm Lake. Those who can't get into the gym stand in the hallway and poke their heads through the door to check the score. Home games also are live-streamed and get as many as 2,500 views. In Newell or Fonda, what are you going to do if you're not going to basketball games? Jungers said. Andrea Vanderhoff said, sometimes it's what gets people out of their house for the day. Interestingly, for towns with such rich basketball tradition, there are no signs on roads leading into Newell or Fonda proclaiming the years the Mustangs won state championships. Brian, half serious, half joking, said Newell-Fonda's reputation makes such signs unnecessary. Everybody knows us, she said. We don't have to tell them.